for those who are watching us live, and hello, happy Thanksgiving morning or the day after Thanksgiving, or I don't know, the year 2027. Hi, my name is Chris, and we are here to live stream with you and preview Week 13 in the NFL. We want to thank DraftKings so much for sponsoring us, and I want to say hello to Jim McCormick. Hi, Jim.
Hello. Long lost cousin of the first people came over, pilgrims. Yeah, pilgrims.
That was fully indecipherable to me, I want you to know. But
I
that's
just
the way
wanted
it
to
should
change
be.
things midway, and it didn't work out.
That's the way it should be.
With that, so.
Hey, listen, man. That's how it should be. I just also want everybody watching to know that Jim just texted me and celebrity producer Dave Piper, who of course is here along with us as well, pictures of his new car. So I want everyone in the chat to say, "Great job on the new car, Jim." It's a used car, but it's a kind of a new used car. Great job. I say great job. I just saw the pictures. It's a lovely color. Good job.
Indium gray. So.
Wow, that is something. All right, so we are here thanks to DraftKings, and I'm going to thank DraftKings in just a little bit. We're going to get going by congratulating the viewer who last week picked a game, 2 games actually, correctly down in the comments. It was Vern Byrne. Great job, Vern Byrne. You picked both the Cowboys and the Panthers to cover. And both of those were pretty, underdog-ish type teams. And so you got the outright win in one of them and the cover in the other. Great job. As we go along here and preview these games, if you'd like us to shout you out next week, you know what to do. All you have to do is make your best bet down there in the comments, and we'd love to hear from you. I'm going to be referring to the chat for our live streamers. I see Dry Erase Girl in here, so already we've got Viola James, and that's how you know it's a party when Viola is here. I've got William, who says that he just started reading Tulsa, which is lovely. Thank you, William. And Alejandro is here, and Ian is here, and Jim is doing fun things with his fingers. We got Nathan, we got Max, we got Bill, we got Kevin, John, Icaro is here. Other Bill is here. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. We don't know how many people are going to show up live, but we know eventually people do check in and watch because they like what we have to say, and hopefully we make them laugh. We're going to go through 16 games. It's like early in the season. This is like September times, Jim, except now we know stuff about these teams.
Yeah, I mean, buys always sneak up on me, even though I'm always looking at them. So the buy-mageddon snuck up on me. And now this kind of did too, so I appreciate it. I looked. I was that's a lot of games. It's just, and we got a lot of football teams.
We got 3 Thanksgiving games, and we're going to talk about all 3 of those. The first one is going to be Bears-Lions, and the point spread would have you believe that it isn't a competitive game. And maybe it won't be because I think we all around here have a suspicion that maybe the Lions are the best team in the league. But I kind of want to focus on Caleb Williams. I'm not sure if you got a chance to watch that tape, but people who listened to the podcast and heard me talk about how the Bears played this past week, Caleb Williams actually looked awesome throwing into tight windows, and he unlocked Keenan Allen a little bit, and they threw a bunch of screens to DJ Moore that worked. Did you leave that game with any more appreciation for the Bears offense?
I watched a condensed version, so
okay,
but I did watch it.
Yep. Again,
it seems like the cool part is he's building on something. It's not coming out of nowhere, right? It seems like he was. I know the line wasn't pretty the week before, and the game that they coughed away, and it seems like that's their thing is just not being able to. So they still have
closing,
that going.
yeah.
But I think the decision process is a lot faster. It's not as waiting, and when it is waiting, it's also not wasteful. He did miss that late big play to Adunze that I thought, but at the same time, that's also I think both of them are involved with that. Adunze, I don't think really has his rhythm either. But no, there is something here. There's a life, because I remember 3 weeks ago we were literally talking about how this was the bottom rung, the Jacksonville level. In the true, you should play in London every night at 9 a.m. every week. A London fog type offense.
Okay. So let's say the caveat that after Anthony Richardson played the Jets, we came on this show and we're like, well, gosh, he's thrown into tight windows and maybe things are good. Yeah. And then Anthony Richardson pulled what he pulled last week against these Lions. So it's a week-by-week league. What have you done for me lately? I completely accept that, but I'm going to try to go based on what I see. This is a big number, although and it's kind of been moving the Bears' way. It was 10.5, and as of our recording this, it's 9.5. I wonder which way you're leaning.
I had it at 10. I mean, Detroit just seems comfortably living in this double-digit range, which is I started off doing a best bet countering them. It was a while ago. It was with Tennessee. I don't even know like who was starting at quarterback. Maybe Ryan Tannehill. But the point is that like I've misread Detroit for a while, not recognizing that they're this good, and so I suppose like I should stop fighting that. It doesn't just take a series. It doesn't take a certain type of game for them to blow you out. Now they can do it. Like Brian Branch can do it. Like they have a couple ways.
I agree that they're very good. I agree they might be the best team in the league, although in the NFC, I think it's hard to tell.
Sure.
I like the Bears here. I like them a lot. I'm remembering last year twice the Bears covering against the Lions. I'm remembering that happened. The Bears defense did a pretty good job in general against Jared Goff. And there's no Taylor Decker in this game. There's no Carlton Davis in this game.
Right.
Amon-Ra St. Brown probably plays, but like has been listed on the injury list. It's just a lot of room for me to go, they can lose by 8 and me be fine. Like I think the Lions are going to win the game, but I like the Bears against the spread.
I can say it's a lot of points in a division short week, but I'm going for it.
See if I get punished there. All right, the middle game on Thanksgiving is the Giants visiting the Cowboys. Are you in mourning? Does Skype have one of these? Does Skype have one of these?
It's good. I mean, the best part is like there's no winner here. There's only losers, because like you're just messing up your reliance on your next draft pick that you're going to mess up, hopefully anyway. It's just amazing. And like the talk already of both of these staffs possibly also making it to the next year and meeting in this state at this point, meaning the Mara promise might not last with the 7,000th time that we replay the Saquon chat, but this is not a great game. The thing that impresses me is that Dallas did show up last week defensively, and I guess it was a rally point thing. And Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons, but there's something about that I think that you could build on. Like I think they're their own cell of the team, and I think they performed so well that the way that they played last week. Like I know they gave up a lot of points, but I just think their splash plays are back. So I'm interested in Dallas.
Yeah, they didn't give up a lot of plays until the very, very end, and it was like a random. It was the crazy ending of the game, and Terry McLaurin just makes like one unbelievable play, and you go, "Oh wow, the Dallas defense sucked," when actually they didn't.
Right.
Giants offensive line, they've been without Andrew Thomas. Now I don't think we think Jermaine Illuminor is good, but he's not playing either. Right. And as you said, like if there's one thing I trust the Cowboys can do, it's rush the passer. And it's going to be Drew Lock. And I will stipulate, maybe it should have been Drew Lock all along. He's the one you signed because Tommy DeVito wasn't a good enough quarterback last year, you idiots. Right. So maybe it shouldn't have been Tommy Cutlets last week, and that was done entirely for the home crowd or TV or so. I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm with you. I don't have faith in either one of these teams, and I don't feel like super strongly about it. But if it's Cowboys laying 3.5, I'm going to lay them.
I mean, there's a rogue theory where they just wanted to tank that game in case they beat this terrible Dallas team. So, they were just like, here's the Tommy game.
If they wanted to tank that game, then they should probably want to tank them all, I guess.
It's true. I suppose. No, I just find that there's at least, I always do this, but I do believe there's one unit that's better and they're playing the best. And particularly that lineup. I just think Michael Parsons could do like goofy Thanksgiving stuff where you're like, you don't talk about the team, but you talk about him, and that'll be fun, especially because I don't think they can pay him. So sweet.
And if I'm wrong or not wrong, there might be turkey legs. Is that still like a Fox copyrighted thing? Nobody's allowed to give out turkey legs.
I mean, who knows? It's all the John Madden things across all networks, so it's interesting. I was wondering about that. How's that branding work?
Yeah, how are they allowed the 8-legged turkey or whatever? All right, and then actually a really good game. Even though I think Bears-Lions could be a good game, but the really good game is the night game. The Dolphins, fresh off really spanking the Patriots. That game is 31-0 at one point, and then a couple of stupid things happened. But the Dolphins played very well last week, and they are traveling to cold Green Bay. It's going to be in the 20s, and I think everybody's angle on this game probably will center around remembering the Chiefs playoff game from last year, where it was so cold that the paint was freezing off of helmets and cracking off, and the Dolphins were very beaten up in that game, but they also just didn't look like they wanted to be there. And it won't be as cold, but when you're in Miami, it's still going to be pretty cold. How much of your thinking about how this game's going to go is simply weather-based?
Not a lot.
Okay.
It's a difficult place to play. It is. I think this travel, short week, unfamiliar opponent, like smart opponent, good opponent, all those factors are like bigger to me. So the weather, if it was in there, if there weren't a lot of like, I don't know, other considerations, it's kind of a kind of complex matchup because it's a really good. Well, it's an offense that's found itself, and then there's just something interesting about these two coaches too. Like LaFleur is willing to just ride the running game until it kills you if it can, or he's willing to let his quarterback take I complain about Jalen Hurts, but this guy can really do it. Love is just spin it. So I suppose what I'm saying is it's a very interesting matchup, and I guess the weather doesn't really. I don't think that's going to be the factor that comes down out of this game. If it was in Kansas City, maybe, but that also might have been an overmatched team at that point with other factors. I don't know.
That's a very fair point, and. I always want to not overreact to the last thing I saw. Last thing I saw was Josh Jacobs being able to do whatever he wanted against the 49ers, who I think of as having a better defense than the Dolphins. Now, there was no Nick Bosa, and maybe I'm just wrong.
Warner has a fractured ankle, apparently.
Yeah. Like, does he play? I don't know. I'm giving away the farm here, but this line has moved the Dolphins' way. This opened bigger, and it's moved down to a field goal. The Packers being favored by a field goal at home on a neutral site, which this is not. I don't know, man. I think Green Bay's kind of a lot better than Miami, and you're obviously talking to a believer, and right. And this isn't meant to be shade, but I think one of these rosters is tough and the other one isn't. And now neither of them have Joe Barry as a defensive coordinator, which is great, So I think I'm all over Green Bay here.
Yeah, I mean, the word fragile doesn't come to mind. Maybe like it's just that the sensitive, maybe the team is certain conditions for Miami. And I just don't, this isn't one of those setups. Like a team that is willing to punch you in the face and play you in a way, the way the Kansas City team plays last year. It's just like this bag style. I just think there's a way that, they lean on them, and styles make fights. And I'd be really impressed if the Dolphins go in here and change my mind, but I'm willing to.
I would be too. All right. So those are the 3 Thanksgiving games. We're going to do all of these games. Some of them we might go a little faster than the others, but we know you wanted to hear about these 3 games because they're national window games and John Madden games apparently, and so we went kind of slower through those. I'll get back to the rest of the action. Let me thank DraftKings for continuing to make this show possible. If you have never given DraftKings a shot, if you've never downloaded the Sportsbook app, this is a wonderful weekend to do it. They've got an incredible number of specials all the way through Cyber Monday. So this entire week 13, the main one is if you sign up using the code Harris Football, all one word, and you make one $5 bet. If you get it right, you get $150 in bonus bets put into your account right away. So you get to spread it around and have fun. I was telling both Jim and Dave that they have a prop bet this weekend that Josh Allen will have 1 passing yard, and you can go over or under. I think you're going to win that bet. And it's not for a huge amount of money or anything, but just fun. They're going to have a lot of goofy specials. They're going to have awesome specials on touchdowns this week as well. So please do, if you like to support the show, we really do appreciate you signing up using the code Harris Football, all one word. But even if you already have the DraftKings Sportsbook account, this is a fun weekend to play. So open it up, give it a shot. Thank you very much, DraftKings, for continuing to sponsor. All right, before we get back to the games, I want to say hi to the chat. Hi, chat. How are all of you? Hi, Angus. Thank you for your email. Andrew, how are you? Brian, how are you? Ryan, how are you? Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Can we do a like spike? And hold on, don't do it yet. But when I count down, when we get to the bottom, when I say go. You go with the like spike. And that'll help us out. It'll help the live stream get a little discoverable, the video get discoverable. So let's get 100 likes on this thing. Let's do it. You ready? Like spike in 3, 2, 1. A like spike, please. And there they go. Wow, that is a lot of likes. Wow. Hi, Victor. How are you? Hello, Jay Reed. Hey, Griffin. Hello again, Ryan. And Jim is making many, many shapes and colors. That's a lot of likes. I really appreciate that. That's great. Thank you very much for that. We are going to do 5 minutes of fantasy in a little bit, where we're just going to flat out take the chat's questions for the week of fantasy. And so get those questions ready. We'll get through a rapid fire, as many as we possibly can, more like in 10, 15 minutes or something like that. So hang out until then. And Jim, let's get back to these week 13 games. And I'm interested in your opinion, although Raiders Chiefs on Black Friday, the line is moving the Chiefs' way. The public is very much on the Raiders. Maybe they're catching on. This line is Raiders. The Chiefs are minus 13. So like this was lower, and it keeps going up because people keep wanting the Raiders here. What do you want if the line is at 13?
Yeah. I am going to take the points. Just too many. Like if Carolina made it fun, not that they have, I don't know. Do they have a miniature guy who could do something fun? I don't know. Like a little mini quarterback that fits in a backpack, like a baby.
I think he's hurt.
I know he is hurt.
Yeah. There's no Gardner Minshew in this game. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. They're bad. This line's too big. They're still gonna win, and they're gonna do the thing. They're gonna do the thing. They're just gonna do the thing. All right.
I agree.
And I love that Amazon gets this game where all they can do is like constantly, like, I don't know, try to sell Travis Kelce like bobbleheads. I don't know what they're gonna do because
it's not very exciting. But I'm with you. I mean, we've pretty much been fading the Chiefs against the spread all year, and it's worked out well. And they have one loss. Like, this is not meant to disrespect the Chiefs. They are simply at a point in their maturation where they don't need to blow people out. They just are staying conservative, trying not to put too much on film. Like, they're the smartest team in the league. Period. End of story. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I would be on the Raiders here. This one is, we have many times tried to figure out who the NFC equivalent of the Chargers is. And I think there are a lot of answers about, hey, who's the Chargers of the NFC? But this feels like the Spider-Man pointing meme because it's the Atlanta Falcons. And like, maybe there'll come a time where we'll have lots of newfound respect for the Chargers because of Jim Harbaugh, but I'm not there yet. And I feel like kind of just about the same as the Falcons. Is that way off? Is that unfair to the Chargers?
No, it's good. It's there. I mean, like, they had their 28-3, and the Chargers had like the Drayton Florence like pick and then fumble. Meaning, like, there's these moments where they were like, "We're there," and it's like, "But you're not there because you're still you." And and the other thing too is, I always fall for them. Like, I'm terrible at this. Like, they're the same because whenever they're super shiny, I'm like, yeah, like, dude, they drafted a tight end. What are you talking about? It's different this time. And his name's Kyle Pitts. It's different. I don't know why it's different. And just in general, they consistently make these like terrible mistakes. They're like, they both draft like things like inside linebackers at like 13 overall. And you're just like, wait, what? And somehow they also end up, mattering though in the Spectre. They're these interesting teams because of the way they play the sport. So I really do admire that. I was gonna say Seattle, but they're too, because they were wacky, but they have real accomplishments. And Arizona's too sad. It's Atlanta. It's Atlanta.
Yeah, it is Atlanta. I think
they can be cool.
I think they are. But like, it's funny when Minnesota plays Atlanta, I go, oh, it's the Spider-Man pointing meme. Like, there's a lot of teams that. The Vikings kind of feel like the Chargers too. I don't know. There's a lot of Chargers in the NFC. At this point, do you give any credence to the thought that Atlanta's coming off a bye and the Chargers had to play on Monday night? Does that factor into your just thinking about how generally, not so much your pick, but how the game might go?
And
how the Chargers?
I guess it should. I mean, like, those things do add up. They matter. I don't know how many of the I don't believe like a lot of ATS stuff or those trends, but I would say that like rest trends matter because it's like body trends, and they tend to, obviously like different teams are going through different things, but this Chargers team is particularly, obviously they have the running back thing. We're not to see Dobbins for a while, but they have other things going on too. Like They have some issues at the edge. They have some offensive line injuries. So I wonder how that affects them on a short week. A team that really needs all their parts. They're kind of fragile too, in terms of a top heaviness. We talk about how well they've played, but I don't know. They're a couple parts away from being like a bad roster around Justin Herbert, and so that's the thing I worry about with them. Like,
I think Ladd McConkey's good. I think I can see them turning the barge around. I can see it. Jim Harbaugh, I kind of do trust among like almost anybody I can think of. He's someone who I trust to come in and build a program up to maybe not necessarily win everything, but to be like good. I trust him.
12 wins,
so,
right.
Like, that's actually the only thing that's like, I don't think the Chargers should really be a road favorite against any okay team. And Atlanta is kind of the dictionary definition of an okay team, which is why I'm going to be on the Falcons getting 2.5 points at home. But what scares me is that when is that inflection point when Harbaugh kind of gets the project going?
Right.
And God, I mean, for the first half of the Ravens game, I kind of felt like we were there, and then it suddenly wasn't anymore. But
right. Yeah. And the vessel, his vessel, his non-khaki vessel is Justin Herbert. Is the flowing line.
He's good.
And he's good, but you're starting to see some moments, and I know people are talking about this personality trend shift, but he's talked about it. There is he's talking some trash and he's doing some stuff, and he does have this. Like there are times, many times, that I've screamed at the TV, be like, "Do the thing," because he's so good, and then it's just a check down, or and so I know it's also within him. It's not, we can't always blame all these offensive coordinators. The player has to start doing these things too, and I think that's starting to happen. I just don't think we're exactly there right now. So I'm going to take the points just being at home in a game that's close enough.
Yeah, plus 2.5. We're both on Atlanta. All right, the Seahawks, who cousin Josh got right, and I was so happy on the podcast. I always ask him for his best bet of the week, and on the show last week, I was on Arizona. Getting one in Seattle, and I'm not sure. I actually don't remember who you were on.
Seattle, yeah.
You were on Seattle, so you got that one right. And I was just frankly happy to have Josh get a win because he's been so ice cold. So good for him. Did that win against Arizona, in which, let's face it, the Cardinals had been running on everybody, and I thought they would just go in and show the world that. Again, the Seattle overall project is very new and don't want to cast aspersions long term, but I thought they were going to go in and prove, they're not, that defense isn't ready to handle a big boy running game. And instead it felt like I got evidence that to the exact opposite of my expectation. And we don't even know if Breece Hall plays in this game for the Jets as of our recording this. I kind of think he will coming off a bye, but maybe not. Did the Seattle defense go a long way to earning your trust against Arizona last week?
They did, because I suppose it was not as easy to read the accomplishments that they did recently over San Francisco and stuff, meaning they're kind of beating what now reads like a weary opponent.
Beat up. Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is and I suppose I wasn't giving the team enough credit, or Mike, it took a while in Baltimore for Mike McDonald's system. I don't know it. Apparently it's a pretty complex system, like a lot of passing off, like a Fangio thing. It's different, but in terms of it's a very communication based defense where things are going to change on the fly. And it really, the difference is, if you just want to look at if you look at the Eagles, it's so reductive, but Cooper DeJean, and there's this switch, because they did go from tiny bad slot corner to big one. Seattle went to Ernest Jones, who for some reason the Rams
been awesome. Yeah.
Well, the Rams wanted off of him, but in the IDP world, he had 190 tackles last year, and that's just but he's
been really noticeable.
But it wasn't volume stuff. It was the Rams who basically, that was with the Aaron Donald system where he could run free. He's not running free right now, but he's everywhere. He's just all over the ball, and I don't know. I mean, this guy's really good with linebackers. He got Patrick Queen paid. He hit the best out of Roquan Smith. There's something with this guy in linebackers, and I think that's what's real about them is. And this line feels a little weird to me, because I think the Jets are what are we doing with the Jets still? Why? They're like this car freshener that stinks. Get rid of it.
From the very beginning of the season, where I was taking the season-long under, it just felt like the easiest bet in the world, and it was double digits. It just felt like, what are we doing? There's so much bad money, I guess, that just
Did you
just doesn't.
See they have their consulting firm is Mike Tannenbaum and stuff.
Well, because the fish rots from the head, because Woody Johnson is an absolute fail-son moron. Let's face it.
Amazing.
Don't at me, Woody. Don't at me, Woody.
It's amazing.
So we're both on Seattle.
Yeah,
They are road favorites.
Yeah, I think they're just they're becoming good. And Geno, I have to stop like mocking the Geno experience. So he's not Jameis. Like his highs are high. He's pretty good when he's good. It just he does have his moments where they're like he downloads the Levis manual. Like
he belongs in the Jameis phylum. He's just a better version.
Not to take the Lord's name in vain, but like there's some Nick Foles to it too. Like
all right, let's do a fast one. The stupid Patriots. The Colts are visiting, and I mentioned it earlier. Anthony Richardson suddenly, when he wasn't playing the Jets, didn't look so good once again. And somehow the Colts are a road favorite, even if it is in New England. And that is a Indy -2.5. Who do you like there?
All right, so this game for me gets the fart card of the week. This was given to me.
The fart card of the week.
Okay, here we go. This is my razor.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. That's my fart card of the week, and I'm gonna give the points. You know what it is? The game they lost, the Seattle game they lost when Geno played terribly. That like
New England, you mean?
No, didn't New England lose in overtime to Seattle early in the season? Yeah. That game, like this, how long ago I've been like still like stewing over this. Like, they had a good game. But then last week they got beat so bad, and Gerard Mayo was like, sometimes the other team's just way better. And I was like, no, don't say that. Don't say that out loud. So, like, I'm just gonna give in here and say that there's something about when they can play the game they want to play, which is like just they tried to run a little bit last week with Richardson and it didn't work, so they like ran away from it. I think they're gonna be able to run a little bit. Taylor was terrible last week too. I think they can get off this week. So.
I think I'm going to take these points. I don't think the Colts should be favored anywhere.
This is the nobody favorite game. Right, okay.
I mean, obviously, like we can't do it because it's Indy -2.5 or New England +2.5, so we can't do it. But anybody watching, whatever you believe, by the hook. Like just by the hook, it's fine. Yeah. Make it 3 because 2.5 is miserable. But we'll be on opposite sides here. Let's do our 5 minutes of fantasy, shall we?
Sure.
Does that sound like a good plan? So all you need to do in the chat is just ask us questions beginning now. I'm not going to scroll up if you already asked. So if you've already asked, ask again. And I'm going to throw these fantasy questions past Jim, and we're going to try to give you good advice. Ian says, why even tease the Pats up to like -1.5? Wow. Ian believes in the Patriots. I do not. Alejandro says, pick a half PPR player, and he listed half of his roster. Alejandro, narrow it down. Narrow it down, buddy.
Best one.
Inner Turmoil says, am I playing Rashad White or Devontae Adams?
Devontae Adams. There's too much like traffic in that Tampa situation. Yeah.
I'm going to say Rashad White, so we're going to be of no help at all. Victor says Taysom Hill or Keenan Allen?
Allen's getting going, but yeah, he's got the safer floor. But go weird. Get weird. I'd go weird. I'd get weird.
Yeah, I think maybe I think you think Keenan has the safer floor. I kind of think Taysom has the safer floor.
Okay, no rushing. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I just think I'd rather have fun. I'd rather go Taysom. So.
Just a Dud says, hey, apparently for me, is your Drake London ranking for the Week 13 and the rest of the season based on a lack of recent touchdowns and early season reliance on touchdowns, or is it a tally evaluation on Drake? I don't know. I don't know only because I don't look at anybody else's ranks. So you're telling me it's low, and I didn't have in my head when I did the rank, hey, your early season reliance on touchdowns. I just ranked them where I thought I would take them. So it's hard for me to like measure against other people. Andrew says, okay, Andrew, that was another question. Alejandro says, Baker or Burrow? Alejandro, there's quarterback ranks, buddy. You can answer though, Baker or Burrow?
I'm not alphabetical here. I'm going Burrow.
It's always Burrow. Yeah. Ryan says, is believing in Jordan Addison after one good week semi-delusional or fully delusional?
I mean, Santa Claus.
Semi.
It's Santa Claus style. Yeah.
It's semi. I mean, he's a good player, but
he makes big plays. But like so does Jordan Naylor. It's not that viable, but he is a fun player.
Sure. I mean, can I draw the conclusion that it's Devontae Smith with a slightly worse quarterback?
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Isn't it?
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I think Devontae Smith's better than him, but yeah, because I'm an Eagles fan.
Okay. Well, and he's more proven.
No, but I'm also a Pitt fan, and he was so. It's cool. I'm down with it.
You're allowed. I'm allowed. Robert says Etienne or Xavier Leggett in a PPR.
Ugh. I mean, Etienne still, I suppose. Yeah.
Etienne still.
Yeah,
I think that's right. Max says, Alejandro, he's just answering Alejandro's question.
Yeah.
Andrew, I need upside. Tua or Trevor. You only get one, Andrew. Sorry. Tua or Trevor for upside.
Tua for upside, because that game could go crazy, and those quarterbacks seem like a duel could happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Brian, I think I'll ask Jim, but I think I have quarterback ranks. Brian, you've been around for a long time on my show. You're asking week 14. We don't have ranks.
Jeff George is the answer.
Sorry, next week. Caesar says Gus Bus or Michael Pittman in a PPR. I think that's pretty clearly Pittman if Josh Downs can't play.
Yes.
Yeah. Nate says Juwan Jennings or Gus Edwards.
Juwan Jennings getting that ball.
Our problem is we don't right now know where the
I'm going to go with Gus. He's going to get that role that we know he's going to get.
So I would, you're going to have a little chance to find out about Brock Purdy, and if Brock Purdy plays, I'd play Juwan Jennings.
Sure, right.
Myself. John says in a PPR, Chase Brown or Calvin Ridley. That's a good one. They're both starters.
That is good. I'll go with Brown. I don't hate Cincinnati's situation here. I mean, I know Pitt's really good, but we'll see.
I just want those 25 touches. I just feel like he might break at some point, but yeah, it's good. Alejandro says DeAndre Swift or Keenan Allen.
Swift. I just think yes, he's just younger, better.
I think Allen gives you more upside, but I think Swift probably has a safer floor.
Sure.
Griffin says I'm trying. It's hard to do trade questions because we're trying to get to so many fast ones. I'm sorry, Griffin. Victor. Okay. Let's see. Lindsay's here. Hi, Lindsay. Dallas Goedert or Nick Westbrook-Akine in a deeper league.
That's gonna be Goddard. Does it give points for like fumbling and blocking?
Shovel passes that he gets tackled on the 2. Did you love that play call? That was the best. I think Westbrook-Akine. How can you bet into the winning streak if you want upside?
Right. Sure.
What is it? 6 touchdowns and 17 catches or something?
I mean, he's my guy. He's the Russell Westbrook of Akine Westbrooks.
Totally deranged. I see single position questions, and those are you're just going to be go to harrisfootball.com. I'm not going to do look ahead here, guys. Come on. I'm not going to do week 14 look ahead.
2026 draft.
Matthew says, Chris, is there a reason you have Khalil Shakir, wide receiver, 21 rest of the season, but 37 this week? I just traded for him, so I'm not exactly sure where you've ranked him recently. I mean, I'll admit, I don't really know where I've ranked him recently. Like, I don't keep a catalog in my head. I would say that the reason it makes sense to me that this would be the case because I feel like over the long sweep of the next 6 weeks or so, I trust Khalil Shakir to kind of be a flatline, very nice fantasy starter. But in any given week, I get nervous that I need a little upside. I think if you just traded for him, you should use him. And then he presents much more security. Like, Jim, don't you feel like Khalil Shakir is like 6 for 60? We're locked in.
It's reductive, but it's the Beasley feel where it's accumulation and you just trust the pattern and you're going to get that week. Right. But you're rarely.
That's the thought. I mean, Matt, I might just be wrong. It very well could be. Go Hatter says Higgins or Aaron Jones. T. Higgins or Aaron Jones.
I mean, I'll go with the back just because I know that was his first touchdown in like 5 years, the Minnesota running game. But still, go with the running back. I know Higgins. I just said I like that, but I think the passing game could have.
Sure, it's a champagne problem. I mean, they're both fantasy
good problem.
Stars,
You're good.
Yeah. These are awesome questions. Thank you very much. And of course, anybody watching after the fact, we can't answer your question, but you can go to harrisfootball.com and check out my ranks and hopefully get some of the way there. Mostly use your guys. If you've got a deep league question, if it's Nick Westbrook-Akine or somebody, that's harder. But like mostly use your guys. All right, Jim, you ready to bounce back into the rest of these games? Okay. The Titans are coming off just a stupid game. That's all I could say. We haven't talked about Houston yet. They're coming up, but a very stupid game that they did win on the road. And they are coming to DC and play a team that just played another stupid game. The two stupidest games of the year, no question. And like, I think of the Titans as being, as currently constituted with Will Levis, as kind of a clown show. So I'm not that surprised how stupid they're turning out to be. But after a really good first month, and maybe you could argue like a good first 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. Are
the Commanders starting to be stupid too?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a trope, it's a trend with Cliff, like, and just
the Cliff.
The Cliff is real. Because other coaches' cliffs are real too. It's not just like his cliff. It's Dan Quinn has a cliff too, though, defensively too, where like it's like Dallas is the best defense in the world, and then it's like, yeah, but so there is something to say about falling apart, but it's also just like they're just making constantly bad in-game decisions too. It's not just, it's like everybody's in on it is what I'm trying to say.
Everybody's in on it.
But they do have this fun. There is something else though. There's a Chargers element to them where they can stay in games. They can come back in a game and lose any game right now. They do have this wild card element. So it's not all downward. It's not like last year's Eagles where it was like, my Lord, they don't have it. Yeah. They feel more Houston-y. Like Houston feels like reckless. They feel reckless. It has felt to me recently like they're trying to be less reckless and they're not throwing the ball down the field very far and they're trying to be grown-ups in a way that Jaden Daniels was having a lot of fun not being a grown-up in the first 6 weeks of the year or whatever. And maybe we'll look back on this and it'll just turn out that his ribs were broken and this was the best that they could do. Is the counter. Right. I understand. Okay, yeah.
It's possible, but I said to somebody on Blue Sky today, I was like, I can tell you the what usually because I watch all the games.
Right.
I can't really tell you the why. The why comes out when they want us to know, so I think you're right that the Cliff could be real, that, the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan system of motion and confusing you and stuff. It's not really what Cliff Kingsbury does.
No.
He just kind of lines everybody up and says, yeah, we're going to throw it super horizontal and, get the ball to our playmakers and then we'll see what happens.
Right.
And I think maybe that's why people think there's a shelf life for him. But then again, it could just turn out that there's no shelf life when your quarterback is awesome and he just can't be awesome right now.
Right. No matter what you were doing, you would pinpoint that stretch of the schedule, that Pittsburgh, that stretch they just hit, the Pittsburgh-Philly stretch, meaning that was going to be the kind of the proving point for them. And it's all, but it coincided with the rib injury. So it's kind of a messy.
It's hard to know why.
It's difficult.
It's hard to know why. And then the Cowboys come running and they're supposed to be beating them at home. And then they don't.
So I guess what I meant by chaotic is that like they can beat in any game. And like, so there's moments that I feel they're good. And then like, so they can play with anybody, but also play with anybody. And so that's bad.
I don't feel strongly about it, but because of what you're saying, I mean, the line is Titans is Commanders -6. So I think I'm going to take the points and be on Tennessee.
I'm actually going to give them because I think Levis is just so wild. Like, wow. I sent one text to you guys. It's about Levis.
You did the 180. If we don't get one Jim McCormick 180 dunk, if we don't get at least one,
he does it. I mean, a reverse field. I mean, look, I just thought about it. I just thought about Will Levis, and I was like, I'm putting everything, and I just think he better save all that mayonnaise money. So
he's on fire.
Yes.
The Steelers, having just, I guess they didn't just, but like the last time I saw them play, I was very irritated. I was on the Ravens. I don't know, but they are visiting Cincinnati, and the Bengals are 4-7 and as dead can possibly be in the playoff race, unless they win out 6 straight games. But that needs to start this week, and the Steelers are what they always are. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Stop telling me Russell Wilson's going to go crazy and take advantage of a poor Bengals defense. No, he's not.
Right.
They're going to score 17 points, and the question is, will the Bengals score 18? That's the question, correct?
Yeah, I mean, what are you talking about? 2015 or 16, Ben Roethlisberger was the last time there was any kind of anything in that kitchen that was scary. Meaning it's Mike Tomlin and a bunch of magic. I will say that continues to happen. The Mike Tomlin part continues to happen. But the offense all of it is kind of rinse repeat. They're one of the most just, this is who they are. They're not boilerplate, but whatever you want to say, like they really do live up to the reputation teams. Like they actually are the Steelers. And I suppose that makes it tougher because the division gets a lot of respect, but I just like this team a lot more than Cincinnati. Like Cincinnati just has these holes that I don't know if I can take them over. Just I feel a better team. So.
All right, you're on the Steelers. They're getting 3 in Cincinnati, and this is the only one of the week that I have no play on because I nailed the line. It's the only one I nailed the line. So Cincinnati -3, I have a no play on that one. Let's go quick through the AFC South quagmire nightmare. Houston is going to Jacksonville. This line, I guess, has been moving Jacksonville's way. It currently sits with Houston being a road favorite, 3.5 in Jacksonville. What do you think?
This is just gross. The AFC South, just when this summer was like, no, the AFC South's different. It's just amazing. It's all back. And they're back. This is a poop game. I'm going to give the points. I just can't.
I am too.
Jacksonville's out. And Houston, at least this might be their, not slump buster for real, but they're let's pretend that we're slump busting game. So
right, there's still a couple of games up in the division. So can we go clinch the division,
they can
please?
Play with their they can. Yeah, but I think they're going to do something here where it's okay, we're better than you.
Right. The Cardinals are traveling to Minnesota, and the Cardinals made me look stupid, as I mentioned earlier last week, by not being able to run it all against a team that I was pretty positive they were going to pulverize. And I had James Conner in DraftKings in DFS, and I had the complete wrong read on that one. And it wouldn't strike me, but you can tell me if you think otherwise, that the Vikings are a get-right spot for a run game because every time I watch a Vikings play, there's 11 or maybe 14 guys standing at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. So if you can't run with James Conner and Kyler Murray doesn't run anymore and Marvin Harrison doesn't get thrown to, what exactly is it you would say you do here?
You dorch it. You just dorch that up, and you get your red stapler. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get that stapler.
Call Greg Dortch. 2 G's. He has 1 G, but we're adding a G.
My swing line, right? I need my red swing line.
I mean, listen, this is not a great game in the sense that I think Arizona is kind of showing themselves a little bit. I do like what they've done, smoke and mirrors. They did this last year, but this is more impressive. I do think Kyler's been good, but I think their tools are worn down. Brian Flores I think he's going to have this. I'm giving these points.
I'm giving these points to it's Vikings -3.5. And I got burned with the Cardinals, and I don't feel super strongly about this because the Vikings don't, it's Sam Darnold. They're not the most reliable thing going, but.
No, it's like a hair cuttery franchise. This is scary. So.
It is exactly like that. All right, we're going to do one more spike here for the folks who are along with us. We appreciate you being here. So when I say go, give us one more and we'll love you forever. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Give me a like. Find that little thumbs up and give us a like. That would be lovely. Charlie says, hey, another factor you're not considering in this Vikings game is now Danny 10-cent piece Daniel Jones now plays for Minnesota. So, I mean, obviously.
He's got the Giants playbook.
So. Yeah, which this week probably doesn't matter that much.
East Louisiana Mud Dogs. So.
Thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate that very, very much. Okay, the Rams, having been both of our last week best bets against them, hosting the Eagles, they are now the favorites. They are now going to New Orleans, coming off of a bye, and I guess it's kind of a short week because the Rams played on Sunday night, but not really. But it is, a slightly short week, having really gotten beaten up in a very physical game against the Eagles. They are traveling, and they're favored against the Saints. And before we get to the pick, my question for you is, are you playing wide receiver for New Orleans this week?
I might be. I mean, Spencer Rattler keeps calling me, and I don't even know if he's playing this week, so it's weird. The Saints, I don't care about rest with the Saints. They were eating beignets. They were at a voodoo factory. A voodoo, I don't know what a jazz club is more appropriate. Or just a 6-day rosary reading with Derek Carr, But, that's why they missed Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston was like, listen, I'm just going to send you 2 texts, says God's great and God's good. And then that's what you do. You know what I mean? The rest of this stuff is holding snakes. It's crazy. The The Rams are just better. I saw them last week. Saw them twice because I like watching Saquon Barkley run for 255 yards whenever I get a chance. So the second time I watched it, I actually was more impressed because Stafford does have to do some magic, but that Eagles defense looks really good right now because they are pretty good, and the Saints aren't. I don't think they're going to get him off his spot. And if Stafford can sit in his spot in a dome, he's going to call his friend Jared Goff and talk about domes, and they're good still. Like Kuka was making crazy. There's still throws that Stafford makes that are he's in that in between the rest of the world and Patrick Mahomes, and he's that's enough for me. Then again, the Saints beat the crap out of the Browns recently, but that doesn't matter to me. This is a better team.
Yeah, you definitely got some Chris Collinsworth throws from Matthew Stafford in the first half.
Yes,
not so much in the second half, but
he's amazing.
But I agree with you. Rams. I'm gonna take the road favorite, which doesn't feel great, but it's 2.5, and probably would tease that one if we had the option.
Tricky. It scares me how much they want me to bet it.
For sure. I think you tease it to 3. I think you take the worse odds and tease it to 3 on DraftKings, no question. All right. Well, this is the main event. Do you have the stuffed bear sitting there?
Yeah. This is Gary. Yeah, Gary. Dude. This dude's been dealing bootleg prosciutto for the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Little gabagool out of his garage. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I do know what you mean. The Eagles are red hot. The Eagles are playing well. I'm not sure Jalen Hurts is playing unbelievable, but he hasn't needed to. And they visit Baltimore, and these were the 2 primetime winners. These are fresh in the mind of everybody who watches football on the regular. Even, they're just super fun teams to watch. I think the Ravens are fun because that offense is legitimately terrifying and unstoppable. Yes. The Eagles are fun because they can be terrifying and unstoppable, but sometimes they just vomit on themselves.
They're 2 different Marvel characters. They're very different Marvel characters. Yeah,
they are very different. I am. Don't want to say what I was going to say. So, because, so let's break down. Philadelphia's defense has been better, and that's fair. I will stipulate. I think the Ravens will score points against anybody.
Yeah, they're crazy.
So that isn't the side of the ball that I'm interested in. It's the other way, because I think probably you would argue the better offenses with Baltimore and the better defenses with Philadelphia. Yeah. And so my question for this game is much more, oh my God, Saquon Barkley, and are the Ravens equipped to deal with it on defense?
Well, I mean, again, we're not equipped with all the information, right? Doing this on Wednesday, but Roquan Smith, and he doesn't listen. This is me from my basement, not knowing anything about this, but it doesn't look great the way that people are discussing it. He's not so close, or we're not getting the 4 a.m. Schefter tweet. We're getting the 6 p.m. night before tweet. So the point being, they're preparing, it seems to not have Roquan Smith. That would be really important to me to have him, because not just his size, he's humongous. But the range and his ability to stop that's they've been giving up the run. What is good about them is that they have all 3 corners back. They're trusting Nate Clement more, and that allows Hamilton to be what he is more. Hamilton's had to basically be a corner for the last and I know he's a nickel, not really. The last 6 weeks he's been everything, and now he's himself again, which scares me against Jalen Hurts, a team that if you lure him into what you think he wants, he's going to just throw it right at you. So the scare to me is that, but I don't think they're going to have to do that. That's my counter. Is that the running thing? I think it does matter. I'm betting that even if Roquan Smith's back, he's not Roquan Smith, and I think second level stuff, it's kind of over with that guy, and they are playing that well, strength on strength. I think the best unit is not the Baltimore line. The Baltimore defensive line isn't going to be able to handle the Eagles line over time. It's going to be a close game. I don't even have a great read on the line. I wouldn't play this strong. I just think they overwhelm them.
Yeah, I think whoever was going to be the underdog in this game, that's the side I was going to be on.
Yeah, right.
They're really good. They're both Super Bowl contenders. They're not maybe the leading contender in their conference, but they've proven to be really good. I got to be honest, if somebody wants to tell me they want to play Baltimore because they just don't believe in Jalen Hurts as a thrower, I wouldn't be mad at you. Yeah, like I would not be mad at you because you know, he
AJ's so special right now too though. Like, is there an argument that he's like, here's the crazy thing, is he like, are we overlooking AJ Brown being like maybe the best receiver on earth? Maybe.
I don't know. Ask the bear. Ask the bear.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, Gary, what do you think? Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, I gotta call my mom. She's been calling me. I mean, Thanksgiving. I owe her some. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jim, I gotta go. But yeah, go Birds. Justin Jefferson's a little bit better. Gotta go.
We're both on Philly +3, though, it sounds like. Yeah. Let's go quick through Buccaneers with the late game that will have fewer eyeballs on it. They are going to Carolina. That makes it a Dave Canales revenge game.
Yes.
And I don't know if he's mad at Tampa, though, because they didn't do anything to him. He just got promoted to head coach. But the Buccaneers are a 6-point road favorite in Carolina.
I don't know why, but I'm buying. Like, I liked what I saw out of baby Bryce, and I'm going to take it. It's too many points for me for a weird mucky division game. Just give it to me.
Agreed. Too many points. Carolina. I'm on it with you. All right, Sunday night, again, we're dealing with very imperfect information. Please visit the 49ers injury page before you bet the game.
Ask Kyle Shanahan. Just ask him.
So, yeah, I'm sure he'll be honest. San Francisco is going to Buffalo. Buffalo coming off a bye. San Francisco basically had a bye because they didn't play in Green Bay. But but it, this kind of does come down to Brock Purdy because I don't think things work very well if it's not Brock Purdy.
No. It scares me because the line is, it's like you said, it's a hedge. They don't know, but like this is what would it be if they knew is the question. If you knew Brock Purdy was out, would it be like 8.5, 9?
I mean, it's sitting at 7 right now.
So they kind of think that now. See, my thing is, I just think the Bills, they're good, and the Niners are a mess. And I'm buying the mess thing now. Like I wasn't buying Detroit being good forever. I have to start buying some of these things. Is what I feel like. It's Christmas is coming. I have nothing bought. Like I need to do this.
I don't know that I believe San Francisco would be a mess if Brock Purdy was in there. I know they lost that stupid game to Seattle, but like, last week taught us nothing.
Right.
And all it taught us was that if Brock Purdy doesn't play in this game, it's hopeless.
But it used to feel more turnkey. I suppose it's just like some things aren't like the Debo thing's not as scary. McCaffrey just is still going to be like, has he been himself? Because he's not himself. So I don't know. It just feels, I don't feel like it's that. It used to feel like one thing could change them. And I don't know if that's the case. So.
Right. Well, also no Trent Williams. I mean, apparently he's like on a scooter, not even able to walk. So he's not close. I'm on Buffalo. I'm willing to give the touchdown. I think the injuries are too much. And if I'm betting right now, I'm betting that Purdy doesn't play, but I could feel pretty dumb about it. I don't feel strongly about it.
Side of the information fence, if that makes sense. There's no fence and there's no information. So
I know it does. It absolutely makes sense. And then Monday night, I can hear Dave Piper playing the Monday Night Football theme song in our ears because the Cleveland Browns are traveling out to the Rocky Mountain State dun, 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 to play the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix, who is amazing, but probably not. Bo Nix is an actual photographic negative of Jameis Winston in every possible way, in that Jameis is that bleep crazy.
Yeah.
And Bo Nix is being programmed to be Alex Smith.
Yeah.
The funniest thing of the last, 10 days or whatever was Jameis's pregame interview.
Yeah. He's amazing. When he's and supporting Deshaun and everything, you mean like
he's unbelievable. Well, I mean, and he was very spiritual, and I'm not against spirituality, but he answered every single question without saying anything, and and I just thought it was
maybe Nutcracker Jesus played the drums.
Right. I mean, to some degree, who cares about I don't care about player interviews. So great. I think it sort of was fun. It was like a deconstructed interview to just put the lie to why am I talking to you right now? So he just kind of said Jesus a lot of times, which is, again, it's awesome. I'm not like being critical of believing that stuff. It's just was hilarious. It was very, very funny.
I have a cell phone number from like 2010 if anybody wants it. So
let's call live on air. Hello.
Yeah.
You're live on Harris After
Dark. This is when I was doing high school football, and he was really good. Yeah.
With Jimbo and the Weasel.
Yeah.
I'm the Weasel though.
Play the horn.
Play the horn. So this isn't about Cleveland. Let's face it. This game's not about Cleveland. This game's about how real is Denver, because now in a national window with a rookie quarterback who has thrown like one interception since week 2, will be, not against a great team, but like a respectable league average, a little below league average kind of team.
Sure.
And so this is a great litmus test for what has Sean Payton built so far and what is Bo Nix without, with a lot of pressure and a lot of attention, but without, like, this is not a scary matchup. So I'm just going to ask you, what is Denver right now?
They're a really strong regular season team who, like, with the right ingredients, are going to look like contendery to some people. I mean, you're going to be able to talk yourself into the efficiency with which they're using Knicks, but it's the defense. Like, it's a really, like, up there defense in terms of it's a top 5 defense in the NFL.
Did you see Patrick Surtain on Brock Bowers last week?
I mean, he's just like, so a team's getting destroyed and Brock Bowers still isn't getting the ball. So it's just, there's something really special there, and they know it and they're using it right. And so if this is the find out week, I think it's the find out week that Denver's defense is super real. And also the problem that I think Jameis is the perfect, he's just
knucklehead.
He's perfect for them. He's just perfect to invite his looks. They can play these looks where they're going to wait and jump his routes. And I think it could get messy, but also I don't think they're the kind of team, like Baltimore was more willing to get weird with Cleveland. I think Denver's just going to be like, we're doing our thing. And I don't think it's going to work for Cleveland. So,
yeah. I mean, Dave, I've been on the Browns a lot this year, but I'm on the Broncos here laying 5.5 points. I'm sorry, Dave Piper. All right, quickly, Jim and chatters and commenters who are watching us after the fact. Your best bets have been fire. Unbelievable. You're actually over 500 for the whole season now. You went 8-5 last week. I went 7-5 last week against the spread, and I'm like 10 games over 500. It's been a pretty good year, but great job out of you. And your best bets, mine are now at 500. Yours are killing it. So what are your 2 best bets of this week?
Again, we shared this correlation. I just take the Eagles every week, and they just keep winning, so that helps. But actually, Denver, I think they have an identity. I think there's a way that they get up, and it could get worse for them the more Jameis tries to Jameis, obviously. My other one here, it's you would think it's surprising. It's the Eagles. I think they're going to win this game outright.
Interesting. I'm going to also be on the Broncos. I independently came to the same conclusion. And then I'm going to take the Packers. I think 3 is a weirdly low line. Like, I thought that was going to be a touchdown. I think they're better, and it's cold, and they're home, and
that's not Baltimore, Philadelphia in terms of can't read the roster thing, right?
Yeah. So I like Green Bay. I like Denver. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We'll shout out somebody next week who gets their pick correct. We love all of you. If you're in the U.S. and you're ready to have some fun on Thanksgiving, thank you. And we just have to say thank you because you make this show possible. Let's also thank DraftKings, because without them, we would not be able to do this show either. They sponsor us. If you use that code HarrisTube, I think I might have said Harris Football earlier. Use the code HarrisTube, all one word, and sign up using that code, not Harris Football. And they'll give you a nice promotion where make one $5 bet, and you win that bet. You get $150 in bonus bets put into your account. Thank you all so much for being here live. We had a blast with you. Thank you for watching us after the fact as well. I'm very thankful for Dave Piper, who's an unbelievable producer, and I'm very thankful for Jim McCormick, who is hilarious. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.